Here we go. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna do. Thanks for joining. If you are there. I in celebration of Eniac, I'm gonna do an Eniac sketch, and I was gonna do it all live, but I cheated a little bit, and I did like a sketch of the drawing I was gonna do. So I don't know if we can show this, but my sketchbook. I was trying to figure out what to draw. So I'll be working off of that sort of rough sketch. So it's not completely out of my head, except the sketch was out of my head. Yeah, drawing Eniac was kind of hard because Eniac's the design, what he looks like is kind of nebulous, especially for the first 3 issues. He doesn't, and I didn't want to spoil what he's kind of, the visuals for issue 4. So I'm drawing a version of him. This isn't necessarily canon as far as the story goes. Oh, okay. Let me turn that up. Is it? Okay. Let me see. Hopefully that's better. I could also talk a little louder. Brian, do you want to make a guest appearance? Yeah. He says no. Oh yeah. So I have some of those prints, megalith prints by Louis LaRosa that I'll be giving away. So if you just, when you comment in the live chat, if you want us to draw your name or put your name in the drawing, put your either your Twitter tag, your Instagram tag, or you can just email me directly if you don't want to put your tags publicly. You can just email me directly at matt@mattkindt.com. And then we'll do a drawing. I think we have 10 of them. And then we'll figure out a way to mail them to you. Yeah, I've had these prints for over a year. I met with Louis LaRosa in Portland, I guess, for a Comics Pro last year, and then we sat and signed a lot of them, and then the pandemic happened, so the book didn't come out till later. All right, so.
We have 1 or 2 questions. Where do you buy your tools? What's your favorite store?
Art store. I'm in St. Louis, so Art Mart is my main store that I like to go to, and then also we have Dickplex here that I like, local. And then my tools honestly, it's whatever. Charlene bought me some of these cool Blackwing pencils. I'm gonna try to hold it up. And these are kind of great, but they come in different, some are harder or some are softer, and they have these great sort of chisel erasers that are cool. So I like these pencils. I've been using these lately just because I have them. And then we'll see, when I start inking, I use these microns. And then jetpens.com, you'll see me using these all the time. They're just portable little disposable brush pens, but they're actually, you can reuse them, so you can buy cartridges that go in the end and use those. But I'll show that a little bit later, towards the end. But yeah, I do that, and then and sometimes I'll draw on the computer and then print it out and then color on that, or print out like half inks and then ink the rest by hand. Just depends on what I'm doing. But I started messing around with some digital stuff, drawing on the iPad. It's fun, but nothing's as good as just doing it by hand.
Someone asks, how do you come up with all your story ideas?
How do I come up? You know what I do? I just read a lot and watch a lot of documentaries and then read tons of books and you just can't help but get ideas and read the news. I like science and history, so I read as much of that as I can, and then honestly with history, I always look at history research as ideas that are public domain. So there's tons of ideas just from studying history. Eniac was one of those ideas where it's a real thing. If you just look on Wikipedia, and I don't remember where I heard about it. I think I was doing research on artificial intelligence and the first computers, and I had kind of an idea, and then when I was doing research, I found this thing called Eniac, and I was like, well, what a cool name, and so I just kind of co-opted that real thing and sort of blew it up into this. But yeah, ideas come from everywhere. I gotta be honest, this hand and holding this gun is the thing I was most worried about drawing live. So I don't have to keep redrawing it.
Have you had a chance to watch Godzilla vs. Kong, and what do you think?
Yeah, we did. I was lucky enough, a friend of mine here in St. Louis does PR for some of the studios and sent me a link, so I got to see it last week early. So we put the big screen up here at the studio, and I watched it with Brian, and it was really fun. I really liked it. The fight with in the city. Well, I'm not minor spoiler, but there's a fight between Kong and Godzilla in the city at night, and there's like a lot of neon lights. It was just really cool. Yeah, no, it's fun. I'm more of a King Kong fan, so I like King Kong. Let's see.
Michael asks, what influenced Fear Case?
What influenced Fear Case? I wanted to do a horror story, a horror comic that I'd never done. It's a genre I'd never done before, and so I've been trying to figure out what story I could tell that I would like, because I'm not a huge fan of like supernatural stories or anything that can't be explained with like science, or at least pseudoscience. I'm all for pseudoscience, but so that was an idea, and I've been playing this game Cthulhu Wars a couple of years ago, and I really started. I love the look of those monsters and that kind of thing, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do something like Cthulhu style, something or other, and I started doing research on that, reading some of the old stories, and did I spell Eniac wrong? There was an N there. It's hard to talk and draw, but yeah. Anyway, so it started out kind of as a Cthulhu idea, with the idea that they were going to be opening this gate. This is minor spoiler, but the Fear Case didn't end up being this, so it's not really a spoiler. But it started out as like a way, they're going to open this gate to this other dimension and bring these monsters in, and so it started as that idea, and it actually started with like the portal would open, and then I had this character go in with like this super suit, like a sci-fi super suit, and she went in and sort of explored the Cthulhu universe, like this other realm, and that's still an idea that I might do, but then I don't know, for whatever reason I wanted to do something a little more grounded, and ended up changing it almost all the way, and it turned into Fear Case. let's see. Alright, so that's about as tight as I pencil. And then I use these little microns. 0.5 is kind of about the size I use. And I've started ink a little bit differently. I used to ink only with this brush and get these thicker lines, but lately I've been trying out different style with just like looser lines with watercolor over the top.
The camera keeps like focusing on.
Oh, is it?
Focusing the top.
Yeah, I see it. I don't know what to do. Is my head in the way? Hmm. That's not good. Alright, hold on. That's right. Oh, you know what would help is if I had a live. Look at the live. Okay. Sorry, give me a second. Is that better? It looks like that's better. Okay, let's try that. Might be just be trying to focus on my hand. Is it too close? We'll figure it out. Yeah, well, hopefully you guys have had a chance to read Eniac. Doug's. I can't pretend to be as good as Doug on art here, but I'll try my best.
Dan asked, where did your fascination with spies come from?
Spies. I think it started initially. It was I liked studying World War II history, just because it sort of spans the entire globe, so you can find a good story that happened during World War II, like from anywhere. So it started there, and then what I realized was a couple things. One is I grew up watching all the James Bond movies, so I love those. And then as I got older, I started doing comics, and then I realized that there's so many superhero books. I was like, I don't really want to add more superhero books to the pantheon of all the comics, because there's so many already. But I felt like Spies was a way of sort of playing with a lot of the same themes as superheroes does, with hidden identity and sort of that kind of thing, and so a lot of different things like superheroes and James Bond and just my love of history sort of all sort of coalesced with Spies. But I remember when I was done with Super Spy, it took me a year to do that book back in the day, and everyone was telling me, go to the Spy Museum in Washington, D.C., and so I did, and that museum is so great, but I was so sick of spies after doing that book that I was like, it was too much. It was an amazing museum, but I was like, by the time I was done, I was like, all right, I'm done with spies for a while. Got my fill.
When is Megalith supposed to start?
I asked my editor that, and he couldn't say, and so Lewis is still working on the art for it, and so it'll be kind of done when it's done, and I hate to not have the answer, but it's just but it's really big, and if you've seen Lewis's art, you know that he puts so much detail in it. It's going to be amazing. It's just not quite right yet.
Someone asked if I'm sure.
No, this is Ursula, is my niece. She's been helping me in the studio for, how long has it been? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ursula, my niece, is helping me with this, and she helps me with a lot of everything else too, helping keep up. If you've gotten an email from me, it's because she's helped me catch up on my emails. and organize things.
Someone asked if you are into art history.
Yeah, definitely. When I was in art school, I loved to take all the art history classes I had. I felt like it really helped me be a better comic book artist, honestly. Just because you just have a bigger frame of reference, and it sort of opens your mind to different kinds of art, and always experimenting. I think it's definitely changed how I approach comic books. Can you hear that train going by? He's going nuts on the train horn.
Someone asked, how was it writing with Lemire on Cosmic Detective?
It was so fun, I have to say. Like, we figured out a way to work together that is just, like, really fun. And we'll just talk and come up with an outline together and type it up and kick the outline back and forth. And then when the outline's done, we think we've got it in a good spot. We almost do it like an Exquisite Corpse thing where, like, I can't remember who wrote the first chapter. I think he wrote the intro chapter, and then he'd send that to me, and then I would write chapter 2, and then I'd send it back, and he'd write chapter 3. And we knew where we had to be because of the outline, but also we'd sort of leave little cliffhangers for each other, and set the other person up, or give them sort of something that would be kind of funny and hard to figure out. And then just kick it back and forth until we finished. And then we had to go back through when it was done and sort of clean it up. We kind of smooth out the seams where we kicked it back and forth. But yeah, it was so fun. We did that we've done it 2 other times. We did a Frankenstein story together. It was like a big double issue. And then we did the Valiant at Valiant, which is a 4-issue series with, and we did it in a similar way. We just went and got coffee one night and hashed out an idea, and then started kicking around the document until we were done.
Someone asked, is Keanu the most Canadian guy you know?
No, Jeff Lemire is the most Canadian person I know.
Someone commented that too. That said, that's Jeff Lemire. Yeah,
no, it's super funny. He, I don't know if you saw his tweet a few weeks ago where he dreamed he was playing hockey with Keanu. It cracked me up. Yeah, I don't know. Got a lot of Canadian friends. It's hard to tell who's the most Canadian. They're all so Canadian. In a good way.
Someone asks, do certain stories make you want to draw them when they come to you, or do they all start as words rather than images?
Yeah, most of it starts as like ideas and characters, and then I have to figure out what the interesting visual is. But then sometimes there will be, I have an idea for a visual and I'll build a story around it. Ether was one of those where I kind of had a general idea and then I was really excited to draw it. And I'd done some character drawings and everything, and that was going to be the next book I draw. And then I talked to my editor, and David Rubin was available to do something, and I was like, oh, dang it, I really want to draw Ether, but I really would rather see him draw it. And so that's one I was all set to draw and then didn't. And then, but yeah, it's interesting. I feel like most of the time it starts out with ideas, and then I have to figure out how to make it visually interesting. So it's kind of the opposite. I don't think visually as much.
Someone else, have you seen the Berserker review on Well Read's YouTube channel?
The what? The Berserker review?
Yeah.
No, I don't really look at their reviews. I don't know why. I just don't. It's maybe because I'm afraid. But it's too late. By the time it's reviewed, it's too late. I can't do anything about it. But if it's a good one, let me know it, and we'll plug the channel. If it's a bad one, we'll just watch it and never say anything about it. I'm just kidding.
Someone asked, out of all of your work, which one would you like to see made into a film or TV series?
Wow, honestly, I think any of them would be great to see, but probably Department H and Mind Management are my top choices, just because I think visually those are the most interesting, or you could do the most with Mind Management. There's so many ideas to make a good show out of. But also, I think Ether, I'd love to see somebody sort of translate David's art into some kind of visual thing. Alright, it's all inked, and again, I just inked it really loose with this thin line. I'm using kneaded eraser, which lasts forever. If you stretch it out like this, it cleans it, so you can just keep using it over and over again.
Someone asked, what other tabletop games have you enjoyed? They recommend Death
May Die. Yeah, is that the one that's kind of expensive? Or it has those great big miniatures? Maybe that's not it. No, Death May Die. No, Cthulhu. Yeah, I have that one. And I got it like right before the pandemic, and so I have yet to play it. And I think there's like a single person mode, but I haven't tried it out yet.
So his question, what tabletop games have you enjoyed?
Oh, what have I enjoyed? What ones haven't I enjoyed? That should be our next video, is a tour of the board game library we have here in the studio. It's a lot. I'm trying to think of my favorites. I think Wingspan is one of my favorites. Trying to think what else. We play Yokohama a lot, and then what else? Gosh, it's been a while since we played in person. But yeah, Wingspan I know is one of my favorites. And that guy, Jamie, the guy that designed it, is a local St. Louisan. So it's cool to have a local game guy here.
Someone asked, is what you're drawing Eniac Mind Management mashup?
No, it's just straight up Eniac. I should have done a mashup. I should have actually taken requests. Next time we'll do requests. I couldn't think of what to draw. So I was like, I'll just draw. This is the main character, Fletcher. And then we'll sort of looming Eniac behind it. This may or may not appear in issue 4 or something like it.
Someone asked, who is better at karaoke, Batman or Ninja?
Ninja is, I wrote that scene. In Ninja, he did karaoke. I totally forgot about it. But yeah, that was inspired by my favorite karaoke song, which is Goldfinger. So I tried to adapt the lyrics without getting in trouble for Ninja to sing. Yeah. I should be repeating the questions. I'll do that.
Do you have a plan to dive into the Eniac motivations at any point in the next couple of issues?
Yeah, issue 4. You definitely get his motivations in issue 4. Yeah, that's what to me was that was the twist. That was the way in for me, is instead of just doing like a evil AI that's trying to take over the world and then they got to beat it. I wanted to have elements of that idea, but I feel like we've seen that before. So I wanted to do something there's sort of a twist on that, and without, I won't spoil it. But yeah, his motivation, Eniac's motivation, issue 4 will be clear, and it's, I think it's cool. Oh, is it? I wonder if I don't know if it's.
I feel like it served it any hands anymore.
Yeah, I wonder. Alright, let's try. Sorry about the focus. I did this once before too. Let me clean it off. Sorry about that. Let's try this, see if that works. It's a little light. Well, alright, well, I'll just keep going. Sorry if it's a little shaky. See if I can get it to work. Right now, so this is, I usually lay down like a layer of yellow. If you've watched any of the other videos, I do a layer of yellow and then sort of leave white for the highlights, and then do like a brown sort of edge just to make it look just as like a ground for the rest of the color and art to go on. But then the problem with that is you kind of gotta let it dry. So I'll let it dry for a minute. And, here's my watercolors. This is what a mess these are. You can see that. And then these aren't the traditional, these are like Winsor Newton cake watercolors, and these are actually Doc Martin like inks. They're almost like inks. Let me grab these. But these are really vivid, and they come in these bottles and tons of colors, but they're really bright. And I'll use some of those and show you what those look like kind of at the end. Alright, let's see if I can keep it from. It seems like it fixes it sometimes.
Yeah, people have said if your hands are back there, you're qualified.
Okay.
Someone asked, what's your favorite James Bond film?
Favorite James Bond film? Well, it depends. So I have to go by eras because there's no one that I like the most. So Dr. No is my favorite Connery, and then Roger Moore. My favorite is For Your Eyes Only, and then On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's the easy one. That's a good one. And then maybe that's my favorite. And then Timothy Dalton, License to Kill, and then am I getting all? And then the modern era one, Casino Royale, is my favorite of those. So I'm not gonna give one. I like all the eras, but I can't say just one.
Who is your favorite character on Twin Peaks?
My favorite. It's Agent Cooper for sure, and the Bookhouse Boys. I'm consistent in that. My favorite Twin Peaks character. That was the question. Oh, so I'm using the Doc Martin watercolors now. You can see these are really bright, but we'll give them like some big red Hal eyes.
Someone else, is Eniac available as a CBZ or only physical?
Only physical right now, so I don't know if there's plans for the other digital comics or anything. I'm assuming that's digital comics. So I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I think the idea with everything they're doing really is to try to support local comic shops and get people in the store. And sort of like encourage people to get back in there. Because it's something I haven't done for a while either, and so I kind of like that idea. I need to get back in.
You can choose to answer this or not, but someone asked if you like it, mind you drawing if you don't have time.
I'm trying to think if it's a funny question. I think if it's story driven, it doesn't matter what it is, you know. I think it has to be as long as there's a reason for it. No, that's funny. They in the first issue of Eniac, some people were posting that first scene, and they're all naked in the desert, and Charlene saw that. She said, "What are you writing?" It's like it's Eniac. You can't have anything on you. You can hack anything. It sees all, knows all, and but then there's a great scene in issue 3 that we just sent to press. It's whatever. I can't spoil that. Anyway, it's great. One of my favorite pages. It also might have nudity on it, but different kind.
You are kind of cutting the
Oh. Is it doing that thing again? This is too close. Sorry, shake the camera for a second. Just move it further away. Okay, maybe further away is better.
Someone asked, are there any future plans for fair trade beyond B-sides?
No, not that I know of, but I did say, I asked Warren, if and when they collect it ever, I want to write an essay, about all of it, like a commentary for every story, because as I was writing them, I started realizing that and I don't ever go into any story thinking, oh, this is what this is really about, including those I didn't. But then I was halfway through, I've written a few of them, and halfway through I was like, oh, this is what this is really about. I didn't realize it right away. And so now I really want to write an essay that sort of doesn't explain what they're about, but sort of like points out some funny details about the stories, how they're connected, and then what's really going on. Because they work on 2 levels. One level is exactly what you're reading, and there's another level that if I wrote a commentary, it'd be kind of fun to go back and reread them. That's super vague, but sorry. Mm-hmm.
I think if you push it to the other one, actually. See how you're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Someone asked, when is the second issue of Berserker coming out in the UK? I believe it's April 20th.
April 20th. Berserker issue 2 coming out when?
April 28th.
April 28th.
So
Hopefully it'll be out then. I know that it's done, I know that we approved everything. So.
I've seen if it's doing in the UK, but it looks like it's the same.
Yeah. totally messed up. I totally messed up her color. I got some of that red in with my everything else that's really bright. So I gotta try to fix her. It'll work.
Someone asked if you could steal one character from any other universe to use a bad idea, who would it be?
I wanna. I'd steal. Gosh, that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe the Legion of Superheroes. And that's all. That's like 1,000 characters. What I'd steal. I want to get my money's worth, so I'd steal all the Legion. Because I think that is, like, of all the things I don't own, I'm not a part of, or whatever, that's the one where I kind of have an idea of what I could do that would be really cool and hasn't been done yet, and I would do that.
Someone asked, any bad idea stories you have in making that we don't know about yet?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. There's so many. Yeah, I've got. There's 3. I don't know how much they're announcing, but I've got at least 3 things that are being drawn right now, and then I've got a handful of other ones that I'm developing and still working on outlines and everything. So it takes a while from idea to outline to scripts. It takes a while. So some of the ones that are being drawn now I've been working on for over a year. But yeah, there's a lot more. But there's one, they announced Whalesville, but it's just 2 stories in there. So it's Whalesville and then Rocks and Minerals with Tony Millionaire on art. It's going to be really cool.
And that should be our next one.
Yeah, and Adam Polina did them. There's not really a main story. It's almost like a flip book, so there's 2 full stories in it. And it's Adam Polina with Whalesville, and then Tony Millionaire with this other one. It's like an end of the world story where there's nothing alive except rocks and minerals. So all the characters are basically rocks and minerals with a twist.
This isn't a question, but Darren says, I just got my first full original page of yours in the mail last week. A nice page from the start of my management issue 6. Love it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, which page was it? I want to know what's going on in it. Issue 6. It's the end of the first arc. And thank you though. Thanks for buying the art.
Someone asked, do you have an all-time favorite comic? If so, which one?
All-time favorite? I don't know. I'm a big fan of Dan Klaus's 8-Ball, but Like a Velvet Glove. That's probably one of my favorites. Cages is another one of my favorites. I have them right here. What else is my favorite? Tons. I love comics. So honestly, depending on what day you ask me, it'll be something different. I reread. Stray Bullets. I reread over the summer, and I just couldn't believe how good it was. It holds up. I'd read it in single issues and then hadn't read it since, and then it was just so good. So.
Someone asks, any artist you would love to work with that has not happened yet?
I would. I want to work with Jeff Darrow. He did a cover. Technically, we worked together. He did a cover for me for Mind Management. But he's somebody who I love, and but I don't, you know what I mean. It's just one of those. Why would you draw my comic? But I'll keep working on it. I'm gonna wear him down. Kind of let this dry for a minute. Get a different brush.
Someone asked, what inspired the Flutter text and hidden messages in Mind Management?
That came from actually an earlier book I did, Revolver, for Vertigo, and in that book I had pitched that series as an ongoing series, and then they didn't approve it. They said, well, we don't want to do it as an ongoing, but if you want to do it as a graphic novel, we'll do that. But I had outlined like 50 issues. It was going to be this long thing. And so I figured the only way, I didn't want to lose all that story, and it was my one shot to do it. So I put all of the extra plot lines and everything down in the text below with the page numbers. And then when I started doing mind management, I liked that idea so much, and then mind management seemed like I could use that same idea but in a different way, because I was putting all kinds of weird things in those comics, the back covers, the fake ads. I was putting subliminal messages everywhere. I was like, well, this sort of needs that too. So I was just trying to put everything I could think of into that book. And so doing the little text underneath was just one of those things that I kind of stole from myself and decided to add in. And then I was only going to do it for the first 6 issues, but then the response was so good towards having that in there that I felt guilty if I didn't do it, and then I also felt lazy if I didn't. I think I was only doing it the first 6 because I didn't feel like doing it. And so with that book, if I had the idea, I did it. Even if it was more work, I decided I was going to just push myself and do as much work as I possibly could on it. And that was one of those things that it got harder. Every issue got harder to do it, and I had to figure out different ways to make it still work and not be repetitive.
Someone asked, will you be making an appearance in the Berserker movie?
I don't think so. No, probably not. I don't want to be in that. I wouldn't. Maybe if I could be in the background or get killed somehow, that'd be cool. But no, somebody asked me that a while ago, and I said I have a face for radio and a voice for comics, so I shouldn't even be doing this live stream. But thank you.
This is a complex question. So
Okay.
you work with Dark Horse and Boom a lot. Why them as opposed to Image or IDW to publish creator-owned books? What's the difference from the creator perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's honestly it's different. It's going to be different for everybody. So a lot of it is just based on personal relationships. The editors, I get along with the guys at Bad Idea, Warren and Dinesh. I've been working with them for years, so I honestly just have fun working with them. And Dark Horse is ever since I think 3 Story was my first book I did with Dark Horse, and ever since then they've always just been really great to me and wanting to know what I'm doing next, and been supportive of my books from the very beginning. And so I just had a good relationship with them from the start. So a lot of it is just like personal. It's like I get along with the editors, and I just like that how comfortable it is. But from a business standpoint, everyone is different too. Like my deal with Boom, the royalties and media and all that stuff is slightly different than it is with Dark Horse than it is from Image, and a lot of it just depends on the deal you make, and so I've just found over the years that the deals seem fair and they treat me right, and yeah, that's really it. There's not much to it. I know. Yeah, I've heard good things from creators about Image and IDW, and I have friends that do books with them, and whatever. It's just, to me, it's just personal relationships. The older I get, the more I just like working with people that I think are good people, and so that's kind of why I make those decisions.
Have any of your stories started out in the writing process significantly different than they wound up?
Yeah, everyone is kind of different. like I'm trying to think of a good example. I think every story really starts out, I have an idea of where it's going and what's going to happen, and then they always kind of morph a little bit as you start writing it. So they always change a little bit. I don't know. Let me think of the most drastic change. Let me look at. I have all my books on the shelf. It helps me remember. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that once I start writing it, I don't think they don't really change a lot, because my process is I write an outline for the whole story, so they'll change a little bit as I go, but really it's the outline is, I've kind of figured out most of the major beats before I even start scripting it. I would say maybe Grass Kings would be the biggest change, but that really was because that was an idea that Tyler, the artist, had. He had kind of an idea for the concept of like these people that live out in the middle of nowhere and are off the grid and have their own sort of like super trailer park. And so he started with that idea, and then asked me to come in and kind of help him with it. And I felt weird about it. I didn't really want to. It was his thing. And then, but he's like, no. He said that he didn't feel like it was working as it was. And then, so I went in. I was like, well, if I'm not hurting your feelings, I'll go in and do what I would do to it. And so I did that, and it changed it quite a bit as far as like what the plot was and the story was. The characters were kind of the same, but I added like a murder and a serial killer and a bunch of other stuff that I thought would be fun. So that one probably changed the most, but I think it changed the most only because I wasn't the one that I came in after it was already kind of started.
Someone asked, is Colin King Jack related to Jonathan King or Michelle Queen? And if not, will they be now?
That's a continuity thing. I don't know. Is that a new? I don't even know if that's a new thing. I haven't been reading it Ninjak in a while. Colin King's Ninjak, and I haven't read it since I stopped writing it. I'm ashamed to admit. But, also in the comments, please give me recommendations. I know everybody's asking me questions, but I'm going to ask if there's comics that came out the last year or two and you think I might not have read, suggest those in the comments section, because I need some ideas. Kind of been so busy working, I haven't been able to keep up as much.
Someone said when we're having camera troubles that Eniac is up in your camera.
I know. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh, the older I get, the more I think Eniac's everywhere. Nothing works right.
Someone asked, what do you say, Matt, going to give this the red-handed treatment?
No, I need like a punch card or something so I can put some holes in it. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let's see if I got a punch card. I had a whole thing set up too for Bang, because Bang debuted in the spring, and I didn't go to any conventions, but I had all kinds of crazy stuff I was going to do to those books. I didn't get to do it. Anyway, so if you bring Bang in the future to a convention, watch out. I've got things I'm going to do.
Someone asked how many issues will Eniac be, and someone answered 4.
Yeah, 4 issues. I'm not saying there can't be more. There's definitely a way for there to be more. And so I would never say, no, that's it. But for now, that's all there is. Alright, I gotta let this dry a little bit.
Someone asked, how do we know you're not an Eniac drone soft programming us to be ready for its re-emergence onto the world scene? There's no. You have to ask me questions, and then what's the test? I'm drawing a blank. I can't draw and then answer and remember names and answer questions very well. But the Turing test. Yeah, you have to give me the Turing test to see if I'm human. Someone asked, what's your favorite Keanu Reeves film?
My favorite one, it's probably, man, this is gonna be on the official record. I would say probably, I don't know, Matrix or John Wick. I really don't know. I think now it might be John Wick, but it's really tough.
Someone asks, if I win a print, can I get that art instead?
We want somebody will get the art. We'll just randomly do it. Somebody can have this. So there is a chance.
Someone said that they'll have to rename the company Matt's Ideas.
Yeah, somebody tweet that at Dinesh. But no, we're also celebrating Tankers #1 that came out. Robin Diddy and Juan Jose rip an art, and that book's amazing. It looks so cool and it's so funny. But so yeah, it's not just me. I was just the first, but it's not just me.
Someone asked, are you going to give us more examples of how Eniac has been shaping world events in issues 3 and 4? Little spoilers, please.
Yeah, there's a little. It's real sad. Issue 3. There's some. Yeah, we get to the 80s, and then there's something with I'll spoil it a little bit. Just mute your computer if you don't want to hear any kind of spoiler, but mild spoilers, something to do with the Challenger, the shuttle, space shuttle, something with that. I'll let you guess. But no, that was part of the fun too, is how to thread him into the history of our known history and sort of rewrite some of it.
Okay, someone asked, you mentioned wanting to draw Ether before Ruben took over.
Yeah.
But has there ever been an instance where you started drawing a book, didn't like the way it was turning out, and asked someone else to take over?
No, I've never done that. I have a book down here a 200-page book that I penciled the whole thing, and it sat around so long that now I either need to redraw it or I just ink it in a different way. I even inked the panel borders, and I just haven't done it because I let it sit so long that I feel like I don't know if the art, I don't know if it holds up for me now. I didn't do it quick enough. But yeah, that book, I can see it from where I'm at right now. I can just flip through it. Maybe that's interesting. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, look at this. When I get it. I put it by my table so that maybe I would feel like working on it one day. This is it. This is the sequel to Super Spy, and it's called Supernatural. And it's all penciled. Maybe it's not too bad. More layouts. But I inked the panel borders and everything. But it's heavy. Anyway, so there's a whole book there I just didn't do yet. But maybe one day.
I told people about like 10, 15 minutes left. You think we're done? Or do you want more time?
I might not be done, but it has to dry. So what I might do is just, we'll be done. What time is it? Yeah, 5 minutes. I might just be done, and then I'll video the rest of it after it's dry, and then you can see the rest of the process. And then we'll put it in. When we do the drawing, we'll just slip this in, so somebody will get this along with the print. And yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in and supporting the books and everything. I hope you guys got tankers today.
We can finish on the question. We're not too many. Someone just said, I wrote a letter in the early issues of my management praising the value the book offered because of all the hidden messages and Flutter stuff. I'm glad I made your job harder and brought some stress.
Yeah, Yes, no, I appreciate it. I loved having a letters page too. I think that's the only time I did. So thanks for writing a letter. Um, yeah, no, it was one of those things. I remember even the first, when I realized I was going to do comics for a living, I remember inking on some pages of Pistol Whip years ago. And I was real tired and I didn't feel like I wasn't in the mood to do it. And I was still, I had a day job but I remember I was like, I'm just not in the mood to do it. I don't want to do it. And then thinking, I was like, well, being in the mood to do it doesn't mean that's the difference between getting it done and not, is working when you're not in the mood to do it. And I just remember inking pages and not having any fun doing it. But then learning that it's like, I guess that's what a work ethic is. And now it doesn't, whatever. Sometimes I'm in the mood, sometimes I'm not, but it doesn't really matter. I just keep working.
That person asking about Jonathan King and Michelle Queen said that they're from Bang.
Oh my gosh, I totally got the characters mixed up. I'm horrible with names. So what's the question again? I was thinking of Colin. Who's Ninjak? It's Colin King.
It says, is Colin King Jack related to Jonathan King or Michelle King?
Those are spoilers. Yeah, well I'm excited. If you guys like Bang, there's more Bang. We're starting it up again when Wilfredo's done with this awesome Superman project he's doing. He's gonna start drawing on the next arc of Bang. So there's a ton more, so I won't spoil anything, but that's gonna be fun.
There's a lot of recommendations for comics, so
Oh, yeah, I'll look at them all.
Just curious, have you read any of the latest arc of Exo Manowar? Curious on your opinion if you have.
No, I haven't read any of it. And it feels weird too, and but I hope it's good, and I wish everybody the best, but honestly I just don't. That's why I ask for recommendations, because I just don't have time to read a lot of comics, so like most of it goes right by me unless I get a recommendation. But yeah, if it's good, I'll pick it up. Let me know.
Someone asked, what's your favorite medium to create with?
With art, watercolor, just because I've done it so long, it's kind of easy. I've started oil painting. I should do. Are we out of time? Yeah, I should show you my oil paintings. I'll do that next time. I started 2 oil paintings over a month ago, and one I painted the base of it, and one's orange, one's blue, and they've been sitting there for a month. I don't know what to paint, because it's been so long since I've done art just to do art, and not for a story or some narrative attached to it. So now I'm just painting for painting's sake, and I have a writer's block for painting.
Someone asked, what is your opinion of the Exo Manowar bike?
Is that from the new arc? The Exo Manowar bike. I don't know if that's from the new arc. I don't know what that is.
Someone asked, who's your favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper? Chuck D is my favorite rapper. He tweeted at me over the summer, and I couldn't believe it. I was very excited. But I also like Ice-T and what else? I can rap every lyric to Young MC's Bust a Move. That's another karaoke favorite. Basically the 90s.
Someone found it amusing when you pulled out your Super Spy stuff and they said, oh yeah, here's a book. Pulled out giant sack of original art worth $1 million.
It's not worth $1 million if I don't ink it. They're just really loose pencils, so it's nothing yet.
Someone said they need to read a Super Spy sequel now. Thanks a lot, Matt.
No, well, maybe that'll be, if you guys are mean enough, maybe that'll motivate me to actually finish it.
Would you consider doing your own Twin Peaks book?
Yeah, I would totally do. Somebody had said before. I was like, I would do a Bookhouse Boys. We really need a Bookhouse Boys series, which I think would be awesome. If I didn't write it, I would definitely read it.
Someone asked if there's a release date for Megalith.
Yeah. Yeah, release date for Megalith is nebulous. It's being done now. It looks amazing so far. That's all I can say.
That's all the questions.
All right, cool. Is that it? Oh yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and don't forget to leave your email or your Twitter tag or whatever, Instagram, so we can contact you. We're gonna just pick 10 people at random that commented today, and then we'll send you a signed print. Me and Lewis both signed it, and then somebody will get this art, and I'm gonna finish it, but it's getting close. All right. Thanks a lot.